Alrighty, hello everybody, and welcome back to a Candela Obscura story, Arcana Antiqua. We are going to be delving into episode 2 today, and that is called The First Descent. And just give everybody a recap of what happened a couple weeks ago. Um, we brought our new circle of investigators together. Bernadette, Brenton, Dr. Norman Koenig, Felix, and Walter. And they all met up at the bookshop that is Walter's domain, and they were given an assignment to go and check out a party where supposedly an explosion and some murders happened. And from there, they got to the house and witnessed the destruction, and it was odd, to say the least. But that's not where everything got bad. The father and daughter duo went upstairs to go see if there was anybody in the rest of the house, and they found the man and woman of the house dead in their fancy dressing chambers. And from there, they moved into the wife's greenhouse and are now on the trail of something that they think killed everybody there. Where we left everybody was Walter had just pulled some handy dandy climbing gear out of his coat pocket and had attached a few of the pitons and stuff to the brick and stone going down to Old Fair that is underneath the eaves. And that is where we find you guys. You guys are kind of on the guys are just about to go down into the tiny crack between this the house and the rest of this structure that makes up the eaves. And I grabbed a few maps for y'all this time.
While
And if
we're
you want
going
to
down,
check it out,
as
that's the picture.
to
But go ahead.
as it was something that we remembered to check last time. As we're climbing down, is there any evidence of what was the method of climbing that was used to get up by whatever the creature was? Do we see claw marks like inside the side of the building, or do we see another set of climbing gear? How did whatever the thing was get into that room?
Alrighty.
Sorry, where'd you post the pictures?
It is up on Roll20 right
Ah,
now.
my apologies. All right, I'll try
No
to
worries.
get that keyed up.
And Walter, if you'd like to roll a survey for me.
I can do. Our intuition and stuff don't refresh, do they? That's at the end of the mission.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. All right, let's roll. That is a 6 for a success.
Hell yeah. Okay. So, with the success, you see claw marks and you see some smearing of blood. You also notice with the 6, you notice that they seem to just be. You don't notice them going up. You see them directionally that they're heading downward.
Okay. As I'm kind of climbing down, I'll kind of holler up to the group going, look out for the claw marks. There might be some blood, some samples to take, Doc. I don't think it came up this way. Just left this way. And kind of continues.
Alrighty. Anybody else want to do anything before? I believe everybody already made rolls for their first round of getting down the.
Oh, do we have an
climbing.
opportunity to do a little do something first?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Sorry, super quick. I have so I've created now a window capture so the audience can see what we're looking at on Roll20. Did we arrive by car or?
So, in my mind, the bookshop is essentially on the outskirts of this on the outskirts of this arc right here.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's going to be like a couple of blocks, and then you're going to have the bookstore, and then from the bookstore you would then make your way up into the college. So I feel like it's close enough that you guys could have walked. If you wanted to, you guys can also take carriages or just like a little automotive, a little like, not like a go-kart, but like a steampunk equivalent.
A rocket on wheels.
Yeah.
I'm reminded of that Family Guy bit where Brian's like, Stewie, do you even know what a menstrual cycle is? And Stewie imagines like this bicycle that has like
It's the
drums.
great way to get around, is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. No. Never mind. If there was like a car came in that like I could like go in the trunk and grab some supplies, I would have done that. But if we walked, then Brenton would have just packed what's on his person, and I've already got an idea of what it is, and there's nothing I'd want to get out of the trunk that you could conceivably believe like you wouldn't see him already carrying on him at this point in time. So.
Yep. Well, if you're the military guy, I would assume you would have your green duffel bag that would have your heavier shit.
Oh, I get my green duffel bag? That's exactly... it was literally going to be a big green duffel bag. It was literally going to go get the green duffel bag from the trunk. If I'm allowed, then yeah. Cool.
Yeah, you can definitely have muscled that up the
Walter's
streets.
taking a long time
You're on
to
a
go
job.
downstairs, so down the thing, as I said before, because it's like a bit of a process for him putting the pythons in. So you probably would have had time to go downstairs, have a smoke, and still not be...
I went and made my...
slow cigarette.
I went and made myself Thai curry, since I had the time. In that case, I am good.
Okie doke. Anybody else want to do anything in or around the grounds up here before we leave? Excuse me.
Nope.
Alrighty. So with that, you guys are going to head down, and I'll let you guys, let's see. Yeah, so you did already roll your first rounds. And if somebody just wants to roll actually, Walter, roll me a straight D6 and then tell me what your number is.
Okay, I'm going to roll this with one of my peculiar die that are all like oblong shapes rather than a
Wonderful.
circle, because it seems to be the way. And I rolled a 2.
Okie doke. Okay, cool. So you start to head down, and do you want to lead everybody down there, or are you going to be one of the last people to go?
I'm going down because I'm one of the first going down because I'm setting the pythons. So the pythons aren't kind of usual hammer in ones because he hasn't got the strength for it. So they're kind of almost like those needles you get that kind of like do like lancets. So that he kind of just press it. It's like almost looks like a staple with like a spring on the inside of the spikes. And as he presses into the stone, it kind of releases that pressure, and that kind of gives the force to kind of hold it in place. And it's successful most of the time. There's like a couple of the pythons haven't worked. He's had to kind of like pocket those so he can reset them. But he's using those to go down. But that's taking a bit of extra time because he hasn't got the strength to kind of... Because it would take even longer if he was hammering the pythons in.
And I would have gone last just to make sure nobody falls to their death.
Okie doke, sounds great. Is anybody looking for anything on the way down? I'll give you guys one more. I'll give you guys one more look around, and then I'll give you guys the next.
I think I've done everything that I needed to see on the way down. I called it up to the doc and everyone else.
Okay.
Can we see the way down?
Yes, I am pulling out. Alrighty, so this is now much closer to what you guys are going to be looking at. You guys are over up around here. Near this central pillar, you guys have up on roll 20 for everybody. I believe I let the players see the correct map. Look at me go, y'all. And...
You can also look at the stream if needs be, just to anybody. I've got it up now.
Okay. And so, where you guys are is you guys are essentially like coming down in between the mortar for this pillar and like the next slab of straight, uh, all of this next slab of granite. So you guys are just like squeezing down on like this fortuitous piece that you just happen to find. And in what I'm having you guys roll for right now is that you guys just got to this uh first level of, you guys have now cleared the in-between space where you are not looking at just rock. What you now have underneath you is a city. You are up now where you guys are. If you were to look down, there is a mesh and a maze of wiring, of catwalks, of like these weird rope ladders, or like these heavy steel cables and chains. And there are people you guys can see, just sort of holding on to where you are. There are like workmen far off on the sides of this arch, but those people are probably 100 feet away from you on either side. And below you, probably about another 10 feet down from where you are, is the first level of cabling that you guys would feel is sturdy enough for you guys to hang on to and climb and manipulate, and not just be rappelling down some structure. So for this next move roll, you guys can either keep climbing and try to stick to this pillar in the middle that you guys can see, and you guys can try and climb down that, or you can get a little trickier and use the netting and webbing of the cables and the wires to get down.
With that, can I ask just a couple of follow-up questions, just
Yes, of course.
logistic-wise? Is what we're doing, well, obviously it's suspicious because look at us, but is it criminal as far as what we're doing, or is it just, because is it a problem if people see us making our way down?
Criminal, technically, no. Will people make a problem for you? Maybe a few people will, but you also would know that this is the slums of town. These are essentially like the indentured servants that worked in the house that you just came from, the people in the kitchen. This is where those people live and would do their shopping. So they have a lot of shit that's going on down there. So unless you're making a crazy racket or something is breaking, you can also see that there are workmen that are up in the wires. So you can blend in. Technically not illegal, but if people notice you and you're doing something weird, then people will be like, that's a spectacle.
Okay. Well, first things first, I'll turn my lantern off.
Do we want an ambiance for this?
That is up to y'all. If that's your preference, abso-fucking-lutely. Really good. Whew.
Well, that tinnitus spout has actually emptied my brain, so I actually haven't got an idea now. So I'm just going to have... Walt's just going to have a moment, and everyone else can decide while I try and work out what I was thinking.
Okay.
But we've got a good vantage point from here, so we can maybe map out where we think someone would
that
go.
was it. Yes. You know what? Sorry, that was it. I was going to do the thingy again. I was going to use the scout roll ability we have time to observe a location because I'm going down so slow. Well, not super slow. I'm going down probably half speed, I think. So it's not a super quick descent. On the upside, he seems to have plenty of these pythons to just keep going. You get the impression that this climbing gear was designed so that if he needed to get down quite deep, he could.
Okay.
But it's taking some time for him to get them in. And these are now lodged into the structure. To take them out will take if we go back up this route and he's last, he's probably going to be moving like quarter speed to take those up as we go up. So in exchange for good distance, speed has been lost, unfortunately.
Is that okay? Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, we can't hear the ambient sound, but we can hear you, and there's no tinnitus. So
okay, I've turned up the game slightly.
That's all that matters.
I've turned up the gain slightly on the ambient sound on Video Ninja.
Oh, yes, we can hear that. That's good.
Okay.
So
sorry, I don't know why this keeps happening.
It's all good. So I would like to spend one intuition to ask the question: what path should we follow?
Oh, okay, good question. You think, so for you, the thing that this pillar has going for it, of maybe following the pillar down that the netting around it does not, is that going down these pillars, there are places where the wires they're either looped on or they hook on, so you at least will have, you won't have to actively use any more of your pitons or really actively have to expend that much more effort in order to climb down further if you follow the pole. But if you use this, it's pretty much a center location in the in South Soffit down here. So you can follow it all the way down, but you will end up on a level where you'll essentially end up in the middle of a town square if you were to follow it straight down. So it really depends on if you're looking for speed or stealth.
If I do the trickier route, am I able to do anything that would make it easier for anyone going after me to do the trickier route also with the cables?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I will then... Brenton will begin the process of doing the tricky thing to allow... Okay. And then set up what he needs to do the others. And what I'm imagining is these are like steel cables, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, assuming I don't fail the check, what I'm imagining is Brenton will unholster the duffel bag. Hold this baby girl. And just hands it to Ernie. It's really fucking heavy. And he'll throw himself.
Hell yeah.
And catch the cable.
Okay.
In a manner that you get the sense that anyone else would have filleted all the skin off of the palm of their hand.
Yep.
He doesn't have any skin on the palm of this hand. So it's, you hear a... Or I fall to my death. Let's find out which one. Ooh, what am I rolling?
Okay. Ugh. I was busy figuring out how much space you have.
It's 46 drop the lowest, I think.
Well, it's an I assume move, but I just thought I'd double check first.
Yeah. While that's happening, I'm going to tie off the excess of the cabling, of the climbing gear to the bottom, to one of the lower pitons he's set up, so that we now have that route to go back up when we are ready.
All right. I'll do move or control for what you would like to roll for me.
Move. Definitely move.
Okie doke.
Let me just pull up my sheet. So, if I remember this correctly, it's rolling a total of 4. No, sorry, 3.
Yeah, it's 1d6 plus whatever your move is.
Got it. So 3.
Yeah.
Are any of them gilded?
Yes, I am gilded in move.
So keep a gilded die separate to see if you get stuff back.
Yeah. So I've got this. I don't know if I showed you most. This is my gilded die.
Oh, you did. Yes. Yeah.
Ooh,
Nice.
pretty.
The spike one. Tamara, it knows that dice all too well.
I was about to ask, is that the prepare your anus die?
Yes, it is.
Oh god.
Yeah.
It is from part of a set of prepare your anus dice. They all look
Alrighty.
like little spiked
How many
morning
do you
stars.
need?
No, well, it's one of each kind. It's D6, D.
Oh, that's so funny.
Right. I will spend a nerve on this to
Okay.
roll a total of 4 because I feel like I need this to succeed.
Yeah. you do.
Mixed success. Mixed success on the gilded,
Okay.
which I don't think matters. Right. So the highest was a 4, and that was on the gilded. I don't think that means
Okay.
anything.
Yeah, I forget what the gilded does.
You get an intuition back if you take a mixed success on your gilded.
Okay, well, that one was the highest rolled anyway. I rolled super shit, so. All right.
Wonderful.
Oh, I take an intuition back?
Yeah, one of the ones that gets re-upped at the end that you can expend on rolls.
Intuition specifically, not nerve or one of the others. Just
No,
double
it'd
check.
I believe it's...
it'd be the category that you're rolling in, I think. Right?
Got it. Cool. Sorry, no, because I heard intuition. I was wondering if it was like specifically. It's like, no, you only recharge intuition. My
Yeah,
apologies.
sorry. I mean like the extra die pools that you have. So you get like
yeah.
another extra die back. Okay. All right.
Drive, I think is what they
Okay.
call it. Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And that's at the end or immediately?
You get
At the end
that
of
back.
the at the end of the mission or immediately?
No, immediately.
Okay.
Right now,
that's,
yeah.
That's how
Right
you.
now,
That's how
yeah.
you replenish your.
Got
drive.
it. Sorry to slow down. I'm all good.
No worries. This is what
No,
this is what we're here for, and this
It's all brand new.
No worries. Okay. So, Mixie says, you are going to take a body mark just for the strain of the rest of your body staying attached to your metal arm. Just the strain of holding yourself together and not then burning your other hand off. So that's your consequence for this, but you do hit the cables and you do grab the cable.
Cool. And because of adrenaline junkie or whatever it's called, I can refresh any one of my drives.
Hey, even better.
So I'm gonna
Okay.
take back a. Sorry, ignore me.
Nope, you're good. So, alrighty, so you are hanging on to the cables. I'm gonna kind of show you what you're looking at. Let me see if I can pull it up. Okay, so what I've got for you, you're looking at 15 feet of like netted cables below you. And then at the bottom of that, there's a gap, and then the next layer of all of this is underneath that. So the wiring, once you're on it, there are sections that you can kind of you can maneuver and monkey bar down. It is another move roll for you, and I'm going to assume you're leaving a rope trail behind you for other people to
Yes,
follow.
whatever I can or need to ensure that it's not as much of a challenge for everybody else following me.
Yes, absolutely.
Another move roll?
Oh, yes, please.
All right, I'll spend another nerve on that just to be safe.
A good call for sure. Oh no. Oh no. It sounds like it went really well. I don't know about y'all.
Please don't die, Dad.
You guys see that, right?
No, what is it?
It's all twos.
No!
I rolled 4 twos.
Ooh.
Oh wait, I'm gonna.
Bonus is that you get a drive
I'm gonna
back.
use a legendary resistance.
Okay.
No wait, no, that's not what they're called.
Just resistance, yeah.
Oh right.
Yeah,
you roll?
fine, go ahead.
Oh, I get 1 resistance. Yeah, I'm gonna spend that resistance.
Good call.
And I roll 2, up to 2, right?
Yes.
You roll whatever your base dice would be without any drive or other
Okay, so
benefit.
3. Mixed success.
It's better.
Okay.
Tonight is not my night.
Okay.
We're all gonna get killed by a climb check.
Okay. This time you take I'm so sorry. This time you take a I believe they're called, one moment. Yeah, it's a brain mark, and this is and you make the jump. But
It's technically a body mark, but because I
Make the
concussed
jump,
myself so
but-
hard against like a metal pipe or something, it counts as a brain mark.
you freak yourself out so much. You are so sure of yourself that truly the undermining of this to your confidence is what makes you take a brain mark. You're like, I should be able to handle this. And you just hit. You don't actually catch like you caught the wires. You just hit the next level of scaffolding, which is metal this time around for you. So you're at least there. You've got about 15. God damn, boy. You got another level. And then you can hit ladders and climb your way down on the sides.
All right. And I just yell up, "Give me a minute." Okay, I'm good.
How does it look to us?
It honestly, it doesn't sound great. And Walter, I think what you hear is, all right, Brenton, you're now here in this. All right, so if you guys look at the map that I've got for you, this is just my own notes so that I could plan, but I'll at least give you a visual of what the fuck is happening. You guys are up here, up at the top, and we've got Dad that's now a couple levels below.
Dad.
He's fucking himself up, but we're not laughing at him yet. Okay. You guys are all up at the top. He's now 2 levels below you. He's got another level of scaffolding, but this level is at least connected towards the tops of people's houses, and this is where it looks like a lot of the utility people are. So there is at least going to be safe ways for him to get down after this point. You've got another move roll between you and that point, though, Brenton.
Okay.
So if you'd like to attempt another one.
Sure. I will spend another. Let me just turn that off. I will spend another drive.
You got to drive back before anyway, so.
Yeah, I got to drive back
Okay.
a second time because I took another mark. Oh wait, no, it's body marks only. My apologies. I think the adrenaline ability for each mark. No, for each mark you take, no matter what. Never mind.
Nice.
Does not specify body or brain. Okay, so I'll spend another nerve and roll 4. It's only a 6 that's a success, like an outright success, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, so highest one was a 5.
Okay. That one is fine. You at least you catch yourself. It's another, like, you're not sure-footed on here, but you do not take another mark.
Okay, I'm capable of rolling 6s on these. Like, I'm just. There we go.
But you just spent it now, so.
I know, that's just, we're sad for you now. So you're at least now down on the level where utility work is supposed to happen. So you can now, if you want to tie it off here, that'll absolutely help people, the rest of them come down after you. And you can move without risking bodily harm further down.
All right,
Yeah.
fuck my back up for you guys. Come down.
Cringe.
I'm gonna remember that.
All right, so we can effectively just follow this trail without any risk, without any issues now, right?
Yep, pretty much. Everybody gave me one move roll, and a 5 and a 6 count as a success.
Haha, I got a 6.
I got a
Hey.
6.
Woo! Nicely done.
I only had 2 dice on that, so...
Same. I'm just flexing on my dad.
I only get one. I
They're doing cartwheels down.
Yeah.
I'm the one guy in the group project who like did 90% of the work, and yet we all get the same passing grade.
I'm pulling entirely on this and just cartwheeling everything.
I
Check the
get a
shoulder.
5.
Hey!
I'm
All
glad
right, you're
I'm
good.
glad I spent a nerve, because otherwise that would not have been a success.
No, that would have been a painful fall. And then Felix also makes his way down. Good blanky. Alrighty, so how would you guys like to go down from here? You guys you essentially have access to now the whole of the arch, because like I said, this is where most of the utility people start off from here. So you have access to the sides, up against the pole, and you guys can then get down ladders to essentially roof height, and then go down fire escapes to reach quote unquote ground level.
I still think, since we've got the height advantage of being able to kind of see the city below us, trying to figure out if we were this creature, logically, what are the darker places that we would have gone and hid? Is there anybody that looks like they're like still cowering or pointing in certain directions because some giant monster went by and they're all terrified? That kind of stuff. To
Is
maybe
this like, is
map
this the
out.
moment we notice, like, I don't know, the giant hole in like a building? Where could it be? Like, oh, I guess we could try that.
We could try that giant hole in this trail of mutilated bodies might be a clue.
Well, did we see a change in the claw marks, or did the claw marks look like they just went the whole way down that tower, and then we kind of deviated away from it?
Fair.
Jordan, give me a survey if you want to check for Jack the Ripper like ruckus. Walter, please give me a. You can also do survey or focus to check for the scratch marks, and then Brenton, can I get a D6 roll, please?
Just straight D6.
Yes, please.
All right. I will use Violet's
get
spooky skull dice for this.
I get a 6, and I gain an intuition back.
That is
Hell
another
yeah.
2.
I got a 5 on survey.
Okay.
And mine's focus.
Alrighty. So,
Excuse me.
bless you. All right, thank you, Brenton. That has been noted. Walter, we've got. All right, so Walter, as you make your way down, you make it a point to just sort of keep your eyes out for the trail that you had followed, and you see that. So you guys had to go down 3 levels. So you went through the top level, second level, and you're on the 3rd level right now. And you notice that the trail stops or veers in a direction that you guys don't go at around the 2nd level. So the one that's above you guys right now. And then Jordan, what did you say, a 5?
Yep.
Okay. And so, for you, let's see. You sort of look down over everyone, and this place has a lot more chaos than the Eves and Upper Society does. So it has that sort of like tension of motion going around it that everywhere else doesn't. But there's nothing that is screaming out at you like some crazy mutilation is happening at the moment. You can also see, while you're up here looking at everything, you can see that where the first platform on the central pillar is, it's not actually ground level. They're still probably 75 feet below that then goes to sea level. So you're even looking, there's still like more city down underneath this that you guys can look at and get to. But nothing that you are looking at up on these top boardwalks that's screaming anything.
Okay, so it's possible that they continue to go down.
You didn't notice any wetness or salt in the manor, did you?
DM, same question on my behalf.
Did you say salt?
Did we notice anything in the manor that gives us reason to believe this thing can swim?
Like smell of sea water, salt brine.
No, nothing that you would... No, but hold on one second. Walter, you do know that, like, there are a bunch of creatures that would fit. Like, if you were to go do research right now on what you were tracking, there are a lot of things that do swim that would be on that list right now. And until you can narrow down a little bit further, I think everything is on the table at the moment.
He kind of looks up and goes, well, I think down. I'm trying to work out where he probably stopped. Was probably one of the last ones to make it across because he was kind of still following the trails of where the marks went off. So he kind of looks down to you as he kind of comes off and goes, not that I could see. It moved off at any kind of points one floor above and kind of like gestures with his hand to show where it goes off to. That's for where it went.
And have I seen the tracks at this point? Like, has the claw marks, have they been shown to me?
I would assume so.
Okay.
Did you point them out on the way down?
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay. I called it up to say, because I also said, like, we might want to get samples or anything.
Yes.
Am I able to study the claw marks for a second to see if they've got any kind of gait to them? And if so, use that to estimate the size of this thing, or if it seems more like something is hopping or fluttering, or am I able to glean anything about how this thing moves or how big it might be based on how these claw marks are manifesting?
Yes, I definitely think that you can. Just as a refresher, though, when you were at the greenhouse, it did rip one of the panels off, and it was a sizable enough hole that you yourself climbed through comfortably. And also, it was stronger and...
Yeah, it was stronger than my arm, that I remembered.
Yes, but like when you put your hand in the place where this thing had grabbed, there was probably like a couple inches either side of the handprint of your own hand.
Interesting.
So it's definitely bigger than you are.
Yeah. And Brenton knows that wide it doesn't necessarily mean long. So this thing could be very tall or have, serpentine or something.
Depends on how it contorts itself when it moves, yeah.
Yeah, so he would still be looking for... okay, so like that size thing. But yes, in terms of its movement type based on the claw marks.
Okay. So you can see... Actually, give me a read.
Read specifically? No,
Well,
I'm,
read
Your
is
body language.
yeah, read
If
is
you have
more
something else,
intuition.
if you have something else that you can argue, give it to me.
if it's claw marks and stuff like that, would that fall within the realm of tracking and therefore survey? Because I'm not reading body language. I'm reading signs left behind, like tracking.
Okay, yes. Yep, you got it. Go for it.
Thank you. I'm not gonna spend any. No, I'm not gonna spend any intuition on this. That's another 2.
Oh. You're taking all the 2s for us. So it's much appreciated.
Hey, get him out now. You never know what's coming second half. Okay, so with the 2, you are sure that it is bigger than you are, and you can also tell that it, going from what you knew from the greenhouse and the way that the marks are laid out now, you can tell that it walks on 2 feet, but it can also walk on 4 legs. So you can see that, like, there's a normal gait, and then you can see that there's like this extra long pause before the next one. So you're assuming that means it gets down on all 4s.
I will relay this and I'll also be like, oh, I don't want to jinx it, but it doesn't look like this thing's got wings, if nothing else.
Until I get back to the library, I can't really narrow it down more than what we got so far. That would take time. I mean, we're already a day behind, so it is a thought I could do it. But that would take me going back up, then coming back.
If I were
No guarantee I'll
guessing,
be-
if I had to guess, purely uneducated, body type doesn't feel amphibious. So if we're going to start our search, I recommend let's skip any points to the way that leads to the water. Skip that for now.
Okay. Does anybody know this part of town better, to where something like this could take that body and hide, abandoned buildings, abandoned warehouses, that sort of thing? Make a logical guess.
This is pretty far from Hallow Harbor, so this is right out of my wheelhouse, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
Actually, Brenton, I pull out a syringe with a strange sort of fluid inside of it, and I hand it to you. It says, there may come a time when your strength isn't enough. This should give you the boost if this thing is stronger than you are.
Just careful. Make sure you're injecting it so it doesn't interfere with the hydraulics. Yeah. I've tuned that for your current strength, so just...
This would be in a dire spot. Use it. May cause drowsiness.
He's already got it in his arm. No, I'm kidding.
Passes out.
Enable him.
But this should, in a dire spot, if you need it to get out, this might give you that extra edge.
Mechanics game question. Is this like an EpiPen that I can like slam it, or like does it take like 6, like is it like an action?
It's an EpiPen, yeah.
Okay.
It's an EpiPen. You can use it as yeah.
Thanks, Doctor. I put it in my breastcoat pocket.
I'm going to kind of move over to Brenton. I'm just going to kind of like gingerly take his mechanical hand, and I'm just going to give it a once over just to see the impact on the actual like palm as you scrape down and see how it seems to be faring.
How was it faring?
It has it made out better in the fight with the cable than you expected, but it's not looking great. You're definitely going to need to spend a little while, a few hours on it probably after this assignment, just to get everything the way you like it again.
Is its alternate mode still functioning?
Yes, of course.
Okay, cool. Just double checking.
No worries.
I can see some of the plating seems to have sheared off. I mean, I'm wary about going underwater as well with that because I don't know how that's going to work with some of the mechanics. But since we're not going that way,
I'll just put the arm in a bag of rice overnight afterwards.
I mean, that as far that tracks as a valid approach so far, according to Walter. So he's not going to comment on that. That's fine.
Out of character, I will tone down the jokes, I promise.
No, they're my favorite.
Thank you.
But Bernadette, please roll a d6 for me, and we'll see what happens from there.
Of course.
Thank you.
That's a 2.
Whew, okay,
It's
girly.
spreading.
And
Like,
so while
Yeah.
Team Tuesday.
Runs in the family.
yeah.
yeah, it does. Yes, it does. While people are sort of like turning your dad's mechanical hand back and forth, the faint rain stick sounds of the pistachio shells collecting as he does so. You see up in one of the recesses of the curve of the arch, probably 35 feet above you, you see like this, like, you notice too late, this like sticky, oily shadow that was reaching a long fingered hand down towards you all, and it like detaches suddenly from the ceiling and hits the grates in front of y'all. And I do not know how we're gonna do this, but I would like initiative from y'all, and you're just gonna roll a d6, and I'm gonna put you in order from there.
Do we add anything to that?
Let me see.
Let me just fix... Wait, is that... Oh, no, there it is. Oh, yeah.
Sadly, no, just a straight d6.
No, I got a 1.
Oh, okay.
All right, gonna add Jordan as well. Just put him behind.
It's a 4 for Walter.
Okie doke. Bernie. Alright, so Bernie, that at least scares the shit out of you. And so you end up going last. Alright, so anybody who's got 6?
Oh,
Anyone?
I'm sorry. Let me just... 3.
3.
Oh, that works out.
4.
Oh, is that battle music?
Yes.
Alrighty, and...
I was getting something just in case, but yeah, that's good.
Question, mainly for the GM. Do we want to keep it on battle cam for the screen, for the stream, or will there be...
I don't have any maps or anything for this, just because...
Okay, I'll flip
this
back
is-
and forth, but I'll keep it on
go
main for
it.
now.
So whichever is going to be better
Oh,
for
that is
you.
the Theros main screen. My apologies.
Jordan, what you got?
I got a 5,
Hey,
which is...
you gotta just have you roll
completely-
d6s.
Yeah, apparently. I just can't roll d20s for it.
Scale it all back for you. Grade it on the curve. Okay. Alrighty, so this creature, it sort of just like splats down in front of you all and pulls itself up to its full height, and like these elbows and arms and joints just kind of suddenly and violently come like protruding out of this creature, and it is okay. And so Norman, what do you got going on? You're up.
Oh, let's see. I'm going to bravely move behind everyone.
Okay.
And then I pull out another syringe, but I kind of take a step back behind everybody, allowing the fighters to be up front. And I'm going to pull out a syringe, kind of hold it behind my back, and just observe.
Okay. Alrighty, Walter, what you got?
Okay. I think I'm going to back up, take the camera, and I'm going to take a photo of the creature so we've got it, so I can get it as a reference for later. Because I'm not built for combat. I just need to get out of the way. But then, if it runs away or if we eviscerate it,
Okay.
I want to keep a track of what it was so that we can kind of reference it later.
Okay. It. Oh fuck. Okay, so the flash on that camera, it kind of forces the creature back a little bit, but it does surge forward again right after. All right, so then we got Brendan.
Do I clock that the light seemed to make it recoil?
Yes, I will definitely say that you can see that.
And this thing's dangerously close to baby girl, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, mate.
He wants to hit this thing so bad, but he needs to get it further away. I reach into, if I have time to do it, drop the duffel bag, rifle through it. Got ya. I pull out it's a soup can that's got a little wick sticking out of it. What everybody else doesn't know is that inside of it is a combination of black powder and magnesium. A lot of magnesium.
Jesus Christmas, America.
Basically, as part of using my explosive kit, I want to make like a light bomb, if I can.
Okay, go
If that's
for
allowed.
it. Yeah.
But does the creature react when I take the photo? Does it seem light sensitive or photo sensitive?
Yeah.
Yes.
Apparently.
Right.
Yeah, it recoiled from the flash.
Fantastic. Okay.
You can go ahead and roll a strike for me.
And this, to be clear, this won't necessarily do damage as much as, so if you see magnesium, it burns with like an incredibly bright light. Just
Like
a
a
like
plasma.
a slow burn.
Stuff that burns underwater. Go for
Yeah.
it.
Am I familiar with these kind of things that Brenton has used before, so I kind of know to cover my eyes? Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He'll yell it, shut your eyes! So is that a strike roll, or?
Yes.
Okay. Rolling up my sheet. There we go. Yeah, okay, let's blow a nerve on this. Don't fuck me, guilt. Critical success.
Yeah.
Finally.
Hell
Come back
yeah.
around.
Okay, and so with the burning of that magnesium, it goes up and it's just this bright and searing light. The only issue with that is you now have a beacon up in the arch, up on the utility level. So that does some pretty good damage to the creature. But anyone who wants to give me a quick either survey or sense, I'll let you see what is going down with that.
I got a 6 on sense.
Okay.
Another 2 on...
so-
I think
Do you
my
think this is
attention's
great,
probably
Brendan?
going to be more. Right, although I know this is for what's going around, I think I'm more trying to just get a read on the creature, so I'll forego it because I'm more wanting to get more information on what the creature's like, rather
All right,
than who's reacting.
Do you want to read? If you want to do a read roll on
I'll
the
take a read,
monster.
that's great. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
go
great.
for
Thank
it.
you very much.
All right, you're welcome. Okay, so Bernadette, you all of a sudden just get this overwhelming surety that people are heading to you. People are on their way. People are going to be making their way towards you right now. And you know that this, like I had said, it's not illegal. But like normal people don't do this. And yes, you guys are Candela Obscura, and you're allowed to do your own things. But some people still don't love interacting with you, so you really don't know what's going to be headed your way. Who else pulled a roll for me?
Mixed success on the read for the creature to get more info on it. I can kind of use for reference later.
Okay. The read that you got on the creature, It actually looks, when you took the photo of it, before you took the photo and before the flash of the camera went off, it was a mostly monstrous shape, and it was sort of like a faceless entity. But when you took the photo and the light hit it, and now with the light that's burning from the magnesium, you can see that like there is almost like a ghostly imprint of a face, or like sort of the beginning of like a clay sculpture of a face or something. It just suddenly feels more human when you look at it in its posture, and it's sort of like stood there stunned. You're not sure if that's like the technical term or if you're humanizing it a little bit.
Yeah,
but that's the read that you get on.
Does this get it away from burning?
Oh yeah, it does. It backs up. One more time, Jordan.
In my experience, have I seen anything like it or similar characteristics on other creatures?
The closest thing that you have seen to this is closest thing you've seen to this. Closest thing you've seen to this would be like remains that had way too much bleed, either near them or around them. It's just like the very look of this, it comes across in that it's just sheer bleed. Like it just looks like it is a lot of gunk and power that it is manipulating.
I guess my more specific question is, does this seem more advanced or more like engineered than what I've maybe seen in the wild before, or via bodies and stuff? Like, does this seem like this person was just exposed to a lot of bleed, or does this seem strange and unusual?
You would need to understand this explanation. The way that you see this thing move, it is a tool that has become highly specialized to its craft. It's not a thing that is mechanical, but I think that you look at it and you know that it doesn't have enough intelligence to be doing this by itself, and you know that it has to be connected to somebody, something, and you know that a lot of time has gone into this. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. Alrighty, and we got Brenton, and then Bernadette, my dear, what you got?
I'm pulling out the big ass gun that Daddy gave me, and I'm just gonna take a shot at it.
Okay.
That would be control, right?
Yes, it would.
Okay.
Shed's a single tear.
I'm so proud of her.
Spending a nerve on this to roll another die. Ooh, that's a success.
Okay. Did you give her a 45? Am I making that up?
No, I gave
It was
her.
a Beretta M1980.
That's what it is. Okay, so you gave her a 38. Respectable. So she fucking picks up this fucking Beretta and levels it at this creature. And
To be clear, it's a semi-automatic rifle. I'll send you a picture.
Ooh, even better. Okay, so you shoot this, and it connects with the the center mass of this creature, and thank you, and it stumbles back a couple paces, and slides on one of the strapping, and it falls and is gone. So you guys have successfully navigated that, thankfully.
It didn't look like the creature that we were tracking. This is just a separate, just beast, like creature that just was like we didn't see claws or anything similar to the creature that we were tracking before.
No, not at the moment. You didn't see claws or anything. It did have those like big elongated hands.
Yeah.
But nothing exactly like what you're looking for.
Okay.
We should get out of here. People are coming.
Agreed.
All right, and you guys don't have to make any more move rolls. You can just
Do we have time to get any
move.
sample of any blood that kind of spattered off that creature as it left? As it
make a d6 roll, and that'll see if you've got time or not.
I'm going to use my circular d6 for this one.
Ooh.
That's a 5.
Yeah, you definitely have time.
I grab a sample and a half worth of
2 seconds, just gonna grab some water.
and I pocket them both and then follow with the rest of the group.
Okie doke. Okay. And what would you guys like to do from here? Do you guys want to go back up? Do you guys want to go down into South Soffit and continue from there? What are y'all feeling?
I vote down.
Okie doke.
Yeah, if that wasn't the creature we were looking for, then we gotta go further down.
No. Didn't match the descriptions and everything we found so far. I think that was something else.
Okay.
Also, it's best if we just blend in for a little bit to avoid any suspicion.
All right. Well, thankfully, that is definitely easy to do once you get away from the light of your dad's little magnesium bomb going on there. Thankfully, the height and the harshness of the whole thing, nobody gets up there to see you guys before you make your way down sides of homes and like these like leaning sort of the burrow-esque houses where everything's just sort of stacked on top of another. And you guys make your way down some grimy, slippery, and sometimes like stuck fire escapes to make it down to the first level of boardwalks that makes up South Soffit down here. And there's pretty much everything and anything. This is the whole bottom half of the town, so everything can be reached or gotten here. So anything you would like to do, it is available.
I'm going to reach into my pocket and pull out another piece of my gear, which is basically an enormous tome, which is Candela Obscura A to Z map. And I will use that as a to help us like pinpoint where we are, and I'm kind of looking at, and with skills that I wish I had, but I do not have for the life of me, I am able to kind of unknowingly point where we are and kind of where our route has been so far, and I kind of open it up a little bit and go, so well, this is where we are. This is where the tower is. Where do we want to head to? And I'll use it to help us like navigate routes, so we can try and keep away from sort of like the main thoroughfares if need be.
Why does your map still list Prussia as a country?
Yes, I think it may have. Not everything might be here. I think those roadworks weren't there last time. But yeah, so you'll have enough to kind of work with it. It may not it's entirely possible it might not be the most up to date version in the world, but hopefully will be enough for us to navigate. So where
it absolutely is.
While Walter is navigating, I would also like to pull out a tome, namely my old arcane texts, and just flick through them and maybe see if there's anything that reminds me of that creature or whatever we just encountered, like this being of pure bleed, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And while they're doing that, if I may, out of game, how conspicuous are our clothes relative to how everybody else dresses down here?
Before your shimmy and climb down through the crevices down to the south soffit, you're markedly more dirty than you were earlier today. So you are less conspicuous, but you still are some of the more nicer dressed people that are around here.
They're like any people walking down the street, or like maybe especially like vagabonds or homeless people, anything like that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There are people that are bustling around you. There are like little urchin kids that are running around.
Okay. I'll try to find some adults if I can. If this counts as a gear slot, fine. Just let me know. But I'll just take out my billfold, or whatever passes for a wallet in Edwardian times, and basically buy their coats off their backs so that we can all like put them on and just try to blend in a little more.
Okay, they absolutely let you. You do pay more than you should have, but that's just the name of the game. Bernadette, if you would like a focus.
Brendan's fully
please.
aware, and he almost does it as well as like a kindness.
But yeah, so you end up with coats enough that fit everybody, and so you are definitely less conspicuous.
So my first thoughts are maybe an Umbra Corruptor or a Nixocrypt, but that's what we might have thought, but I'm not entirely certain. I'd have to check.
You're leaning more towards a Nixocrypt at the moment.
Do I have anything in my tomes?
What'd you get on? Did you roll anything for me?
No. What would I have to roll?
I'm thinking either focus or a sense, just to get some extra stuff.
Okay. Let's go with focus. That is a 4.
Okie doke. That is that's enough to get some information. Okay. Alrighty, so you are flipping through your book, and you come across a section in your book that is about the use of photography in capturing and trapping souls. Sometimes there have been a couple of noted times in Candela Obscura that they've been called in for when families would do that, like the death photography with their deceased loved ones. They sometimes did it too early, and they trapped their loved ones' souls in their bodies, and they forced them to become this creature. And they're called revenants, I think is what... Yes, they're called revenants. And, but you also know that in this specific instance that your book is talking about, these instances were done accidentally in just the will of the family member wanting to keep their loved one with them. And that is what you end up taking from your book.
Hey, Walter. Did you check out the picture you took of the thing already?
It's going to take time to develop in this light. It's not fully dark, but I'll take... he kind of moves it, because when he's pocketed the camera, he's put the developing slide in another pocket, and he pulls it out, and you definitely notice that it seems to be dripping as he pulls it out of a pocket that is filled with developing fluid. and we'll just have a quick look and just kind of shake it off and see how it seems to be faring.
Okay. So you. All right. So there are like these like flickering yellow bulbs that are wired along that you can hold up that negative plate to, and you can just make out enough that there's the beginnings of like a sort of like rageful, shocked man's face on this like smearing of black where the creature was.
I kind of hand it over. I kind of gingerly hand it over to Bernadette. Say, shelf 6, second floor, third row. Creatures that are light sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
Again, can't be sure, but I mean, there's something once human in it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not super bleed savvy for the most part, or in terms of like what bleed kind of how it kind of shows, but.
Have you ever heard of revenants?
A few times. Normally, it'd be things that want to pass and can't. Really, but you get different types. You get. There's quite a few deep sea revenants, like sailors lost to sea that haven't been able to be given a proper burial, and a few things like that. But I've not got. I don't know have any. Without my library, I can't be sure much on regard these things. I mean, this one didn't look underwater, or it was more, the mass wasn't really dripping. It was just a kind of an amalgamation. But yeah, roughly, it's just something that wants to pass and can't, for whatever reason. And there's loads of types, I think. What are you thinking?
I was just having a quick look through my texts, and I've just remembered something about how sometimes photography can be used to prematurely rip someone's soul out of their body, which is a pretty gnarly thing.
Might suggest why that creature was resistant to light, and I suppose the photo as well. It does look like you can see that face doesn't look. Kind of looks attached, but not fully. So some disconnect there. I mean, the photo didn't kill it; just shocked it. Really, I think the most work was probably thanks to your dad and your shotgun. Kind of like he's now just like kind of pouring, like looking through your text as well, and he kind of like looking through there, and he starts to like kind of resume, just kind of flips through a couple of pages and just kind of sees there and just like nods and goes, "Where did you get that tome from?"
Found it somewhere.
Okay. He kind of just gives you a quizzical look with a little bit of a furrowed brow, but then he kind of washes away and he smiles and goes, "Good aim, kid. You've done well, monsieur."
I'll try.
You are indeed very trying, but nevertheless.
Hey. He said like a and like a, seriously though, baby girl, couldn't have shot that better myself. Good work.
If you call me that one more time, I swear to the gods.
You're what?
She just looks at you.
You're always gonna be my baby girl. Even when you're fucking 50.
Fuck's sake.
I gave you a fucking machine gun, didn't I? You can't say I baby you overall.
Okay, our dynamic duo, Brenton and Bernadette, you guys remember when you were up in the second floor, you found the father was in the paranormal branch of the police force. You also saw that his body was still freshly mutilated in his home when you got there, as well as his wife, and his wife had organs missing as well.
Stomach.
Yes, stomach and kidney, I believe. And so you would know that there's essentially like a reporting office down here for that branch. You guys can go and check in there, ask after the lieutenant. You guys, if you guys took his stuff, so you guys should know what his name is. Hello, how are you? And so you would know what his name is. That's a viable lead. You also know that the wife had a hugely extensive botanical greenhouse, and there were a lot of things that she would need for that she could only get around here. And also, too, you guys heard from the kitchen staff that they went down into South Soffit to get a new quote-unquote medium for this party. So there are all different directions that you guys can go. You guys can split up. Norman, you would know around here as well, because one of these corner morgues lets you come in and do some of your early work in here. So there's like a chunk of this place that you would know. And let's see, Walter, you would have some. Your book would be more than enough to navigate you guys around here.
Yep.
I've not travelled here myself, but where do you guys think is best to go now? I'm still curious to find out more about this ambrosia.
Yeah. I've got a couple of contacts I could make to see if I can get more information as far as black market information. As far as ambrosia, anybody selling some strange stuff, I can make a few
Good doctor
calls.
on the black market. Well, I never.
Budget cuts. Sometimes you have to work around the system.
That's private healthcare for you.
Emphasis on private.
Okay.
What do you think, Bernadette?
Black market sounds fun.
Black market it is.
Alrighty.
Second left. We can cut through the back streets of whatever this speakeasy used to be.
Most of the big names that you have in your book, they're all mostly empty now. So you have really no issues going all of these weird back ways, and you guys can make your way through town mostly unseen. and you guys end up descending to the bottom level of this, which is then going to be sea level. So then and you guys get to the point where the markets would be the slaughterhouses. You're heading towards the more industrial part of this chunk of town, and pretty much everything that you guys are going to be looking for is going to be over here. Do you guys want to? Are you guys just following Norman to his contact, or are you guys looking for the actual market so that you can then move forward?
I'll stick with Monsieur Damaris. I think so. I'll stick with Norman. Sorry. I'll stick with Felix. Okay. Wherever he goes, because as we're traveling, I'm going to say, well, if you know any good spots for where if we never needed to pick up a medium ourselves, we might give them a shot and see if we can get maybe that name might ring any bells, as generic as it is.
I can definitely keep an ear out in the areas.
We're talking about gleaning into the ether.
My contact is a private fellow, so I probably need to go and find him myself. But if you guys want to take a look around the actual black market and see what's for sale, specifically looking for any way to get a hold of this ambrosia or black market bleed-infected organs or that might be for sale, or somebody trying to purchase ineffective equipment, maybe somebody's selling bad medium equipment that's actually magical in nature that's causing these problems. Or maybe there's a new market for bleed-infected organs, or perhaps somebody rich has found some reason why he thinks that consuming them would be effective, and therefore he's trying to buy them, so there's a new market for them. These are basically the same questions when I ask my contact, but if you want to look around the market yourself, that might also be beneficial.
I'm going to show the doctor the map and point at a generic meat spot that seems innocuous and say, 2 hours or less, we'll all meet back here.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Onward then. I'm going to stick with Bernie. He will ask just before everyone breaks off. Mm-hmm. I know I probably should know the difference a bit more, but Bernadette, if we're trying to glimpse into the beyond, well, I know your approach is different, but is there anything you could potentially glean?
Depends, really.
He doesn't say it out loud, but he isn't sure. Brenton is not sure about the specific differences between an occultist and a medium, and he is too afraid to ask.
Depends on what I'm trying to glean and if there's like any specimens that I can use to interact with, really.
Walter, you scooped up some of that things, unmentionables, didn't you?
He'll take out the filled vial, because he's got 1.5 vials worth, and he'll give you the filled vial.
Alright, I can
just
try and work with
careful
that.
With I've corked it. I mean, actually, good point. When I scooped it up, was there any risk of bleed there?
Sorry. Yes, there would have been, but I know that you'd specified before you had a handkerchief that you used to pick things up with, so I assumed that you were doing that again.
So I'll say I'm just handing the vial as it is with no handkerchief. So, but the vial's clear. I'll just go. Be careful if you open that.
course, yeah.
Alrighty. Okay.
Another question would be, for those who know Eliza better, or if any of you have gone on these, there was 3 incidents prior to this one. What similarities were there between those 3? She didn't really give us any information on the other ones.
That, unfortunately, is a tendency of Eliza. A bit more on the need-to-know basis, erring on the side of not than doing. I don't have enough on it. She basically told as much to me as she did to the rest of us. I think it was just simply something seems to be going wrong. There's these issues and deal with it. And how and where comes into our purview. Appreciate that's that's not a great deal to go on, but often
it's not
these
entirely
things
helpful.
Often these things tend to. I partially get the reasoning. Let's say if you fall into the company's some ne'er-do wells that start plying you for information, and the less you know, the better.
Sure. Do we know who these other incidents were? If we needed to interview them to find out what the commonalities were, like have bleed-infected organs been taken from every location? Is this monster unique to this one? That sort of information would be helpful to know if the monster's something to do with what happened, or if the monster is the goal of all of these and the other failed attempts didn't create the monster, but this one did, that sort of thing.
Or if someone just sees an opportunity and the monster is irrelevant.
Right.
Best bet might be to see whatever police reports there were, and see if we can get access to any of the reports and see if we can match some of them up. But
does anyone have contacts?
As I said, I appreciate it's not a great deal. I haven't got a contact specifically with the Force, but they know of us. They might be amenable with someone with a silver tongue might be able to.
Okay. Then Norman heads off to go find his contact, and then we'll rendezvous with everybody at that other spot.
Okie doke.
Right, Doctor.
I'm not sure I find any evidence of blade-infected organs. No one's gonna think twice about a giant man with a chip on his shoulder and a beard asking about that shit down here.
Well, if they do, they'll know not to ask as well, so works in both senses. I'm curious to find out more about the medium, but Norman, you're probably going to be the better place to know where to go or the questions to ask.
Alrighty. So are you guys splitting up?
Split the party!
Split the party!
What
Everybody's
could
got
possibly go wrong?
jobs!
Nothing bad ever happened when you go
Who's going with who?
I think we've got 2 pairs, and then Norman going to meet his contact by himself. We've got Walter Felix, and then we've got Bernadette Brenton.
Okay, everybody but us be careful, because we're the ones who can...
Yeah, everyone else is the fucking amateurs.
Okay, and with that here, we're gonna take a break. Give me a second to finish typing this out, and we will be back in about 10-15 minutes, everybody.
Perfect.
Alrighty.
Thank you. All of my lights have died, but I'm ready when y'all are.
Ready?
Ready.
I guess, whose path are we following first?
Let's go for, let's do Brenton and Bernadette. Give Felix and Walter a second to figure out where they're going.
Right. You feeling chatty, or you want me to take point?
You go ahead.
Up to you.
No, go ahead.
Alright. So, I will have a look at this market.
Okay.
Is this like on a scale of Nocturne Alley in Harry Potter to like an actual black market, which looks like a normal market, but like things under the table? What does this look like?
This looks like this looks like the it looks like just a general open air market. Like it literally just looks like a market. Like things are happening, everything's happening out in the open. Do you want to give a survey for me? See if you can figure out where the illicit goods happen.
Yes, please. Suppose it was too much to hope for a big old sign that said crime this way or drugs that way. Screw it. I will burn an intuition. Mixed success. 4 and a 5.
Hey. Okay. So, all right. So what you end up picking up is that,
Sorry, I always
policy
forget that it's one extra on top of the ones you normally have. None of them
Oh, no
were.
worries, go
Sorry,
ahead.
I rolled. It wasn't better than the 2 I rolled.
Okay. You always gotta try for it. I respect the hustle. Okay, so what you do notice from this marketplace is that everything and everybody is here, but you notice that there are every odd stall, not as in like 1 through 5, just as in like one of a few of them, has a table that has a black tablecloth, and either it's got either got a single table with a black tablecloth and the rest of its wares. Everybody's got patchwork colors and dirty things going on, but you think that the tablecloth is the identifier for these people.
Okay, so who are the vendors at the various tablecloths? Like, what kind of vibes do I get from these dudes?
You get just a very wide amalgamation of people. There are everybody that does have a black tablecloth is a little bit rougher and harder than everybody else, but only by degrees and only because you're looking for it. Whereas when you finally notice the pattern, you do see though every seller, be it like a little like cart vendor or some like reader like with like a box, everybody that's selling like an amulet or a talisman or some kind of like occult adjacent item, they all immediately have black tablecloths. And you don't see anybody that has anything that leans that way without it. So that's probably the biggest flag that you would notice.
Got it. This may be just vibes, and so it may be not possible to tell, but Breton knows that there's degrees of illicitness and there's degrees of scumbaggery. Kind of guy who sells some nose powder is not necessarily the kind of guy who sells organs. Without necessarily being able to quantify it, do any of these guys give me organ vibes? Versus...
there is this guy that he looks, the presentation that he has gives like fishmonger, but you being a soldier and being around death get that like extra ping, that like He's not right. You also see one of the like darker and off into like more tucked off into a corner, essentially just like a woman with a couple little boards and stands. She has some more grisly looking ornamentation, and just looks to be like osteomancy, like divining bones or like reading people's runes with like a set of bones that you see. So those would be the two people that kind of give you the biggest organ, leave you in a bathtub full of ice vibes.
Now, Brenton was a fishmonger, or a sailor at least, as well.
Mm-hmm.
Does he look like he knows what he's doing, cutting that fish up, or does that look like all for show? Does he know how to hold the knife? Does he know how to fillet it, remove the bones, or is he just playing?
He absolutely knows. He absolutely knows how to hold the knife. You do notice that he's got a couple of his fingers are missing, so that messes with his technique. But even so, it's spotless.
Don't know if that's better or worse. Murmur to, or is it? What do you think? Fish bones over there, or the lady with the crystal ball?
I mean, the fortune teller might know some mediums as well.
All right, let's start there.
Okay. So you guys head over to the medium.
Yeah.
Alrighty. She looks up as you approach, and you guys, as you get close enough to see her and sort of make out her features, you notice that her eyes are like this milky, cloudy gray, and she just sort of like looks up and smiles at you guys as you approach her, and throws this handful of runes to the table. And can I help you?
Maybe. You see, my daughter and I have fallen on hard times and appreciate a little guidance.
Ooh, okay. She sort of cocks her head while she's listening to you, and her eyes settle on Bernadette, and in response to you, Brenton, she goes, I think you're lying to me. But I think you have some truth in you, girl.
What gives you the impression?
I can almost see you. Is that right? Can I cast something for you? Would you be interested?
Sure.
All right. And she scoops up her fish scale and bone ruins off of her table, and shakes them in her hand. And she's still looking at you, Bernadette, and she drops them, and she sort of fiddles with them and lines them back up. And she doesn't put her hands over them to like see what the carvings would be, but she like looks at them And then she looks back at you. So, what answers am I giving you? I haven't heard a question, a real one yet.
Well, let's start with a simple one. Where can we find out more about ambrosia?
The woman kind of like looks blindly around a little bit, like casts a look and sort of chuckles to herself. And where have you heard that name?
I thought
The
you were here to
wind?
give us answers, not ask more questions.
Well, there are quite a few ambrosias down here, and depending on where you heard the name, maybe the way I direct you. But I sense you know how the game is played.
Let's say she's an acquaintance.
All right. And she sort of like almost peers over the top of you to look around at what you don't know. And she settles back down again. And there was a girl by that name who she would flit about the corners of this market for, oh, I don't know. That name, it comes and it goes, you see. But the last one I heard, she was here about a week. I don't think I've seen her since, but... Are you looking for a certain one? Any description I could help you with, or no?
Based on the dream that I had, I'd just give her a quick description of the girl that I've seen there.
Oh. And she takes a couple of she takes the two she takes the bones that she didn't cast, and she holds them in her hand and drops them, and I think that is the one that we're talking about. To be quite honest with you, I don't think I've heard of a girl with that name that's had a kind ending. And I don't think you're here bringing me one for her, are you?
I'm afraid not, no.
There have been plenty of girls that have gone missing, you know, over the ages. But the past few months, I feel like I just hear more and more, unless that they're being found somewhere else. And she sort of, she puts her hand on the runes that she cast for you, and but I think with these, you're going to be pulling something into the light not far from now.
Okay.
The place, let's see. Most of the new girls that are around here, they come through Oh gosh, what is it called now? I believe it's called Mary. And that's the name of the shop that the last few girls that have used that name have based themselves out of or found rent in. So that might be of some help to you.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else that you're looking for?
I look to Brenton.
I mean, I've got questions, but don't get the impression you're too interested in talking to me.
I'll answer your questions. I just prefer the truth, especially if I'm giving you truth back.
Wasn't lying for the record. Just didn't tell the whole truth.
And there it is. So, something else I can point you towards, or are you all set?
You seem like someone who, wants what's best for everyone around here, at the end of the day. Is that fair to say?
Yes. I've seen a lot of things, and I'm tired of how they weigh on me. So yes, that's fair to say.
Oh. You and I have that in common. I know, wait. Trust me, I know, wait.
I can tell. I can see it from here.
But I'm trying something, you know? Work through it. Be productive and, see if I can't still do some good. And I want to do some good here. I want to help these people. I think some of them have the possibility of being in danger.
A noble thing for a very light sentiment. Yes, some of us are probably in danger. But you only do what you can.
More immediate danger than general. And I want to fix that, but I might need your help to do that.
Oh? And what would you need from me?
You said you don't like liars.
I don't.
Me neither. Despite my hypocrisy on the matter. So before I tell you, I'd like to ask you once. Can I confide in you? Can I trust you?
I think you can. Trust is something different, isn't it? But you can confide in me, certainly.
Do I believe her?
You can make a roll if you'd like.
I'd like to try.
Yeah, for sure.
That's read. That's definitely read.
Yeah.
I'm definitely blowing a cunning on that because I have nothing in that. So if I blow a cunning, I just roll the one, right?
Yeah.
Cool. 1 dice.
Here we go.
Okay, bronze die or purple skull dice?
It's going to be 2 either way, so whichever.
You might as well just set it down.
Come on, Violet. Make me proud. That's a 3.
Woo! Yeah,
Moving
you
up.
can trust her.
Okay. Yeah, going up. You know anything about the transaction of bleed-infested organs?
And you see her eyes, they
You want the truth? Here's the
Kind of
fucking
like-
truth.
literally, they kind of take on the most joy they've had, but like sort of also in like a scandalized way. And she looks at you and bleed infested organs. Who would I? And she goes, actually, there are some people that are down at the marina. If you follow the docks all the way over towards, actually, you can smell it. Let's be honest. And out there, there have been some people that have washed up. Interesting, we'll say. Maybe that's where you can find some information.
Docs, got it. Thank you. What about Fishface over there? Are you worth speaking to?
How quickly do you need something? And is it that specific?
Is it better if it's specific, or if it's better if it's a surprise?
You intrigue me, the two of you. If you know what you're looking for, ask him for it. If you don't, don't.
It's good advice.
He's-
Thank you. That's everything I need. Thank you. You've been very helpful.
I just see like tips an invisible hat. Mr. Hargreaves.
You hear a mechanical creak in his neck, which is strange because he has like this is all organic, but like is like just the what the fuckness is like. He's like it's like a roller coaster ratcheting. It's like the fuck.
The fuck did you say?
Okay. Question. In all my years married to Hana, knowing what she was capable of, what she was able to learn by just looking at someone, is this actually necessarily a surprise if I assume she has the same class levels, for lack of a better term?
Oh yeah, if you assume that she's legit and she's this is absolutely feasible.
Okay. In that case, yeah, that would probably like she seems legit, so less of a surprise at that point. But he'll have like an of course smirk. And does she have like I don't know, like a hat that she's taking like collections in or something? Like-
Yeah, she's got like this little mangled like coffee tin out on the edge of her table. Her setup.
I'll put a note of whatever would constitute like a lot more than what would be customary, but not necessarily like something ridiculous. Like if it's 10 per reading, I'll put in 20, not like 50, or like if it's
Gotcha.
100 per reading, I'll put in like 150, kind of like.
Cool. She moves the can much closer. And just goes back to minding her own and settling as you guys head off, unless there's something else you'd like to do.
I want to talk to the trader of many things.
All right.
Sure.
Right, Bernie. Sorry. Bernadette.
Thank you.
You said these things were... And I'm trying to be discreet. You said these things are revenant, right?
Potentially.
Let's assume that it is. Do you know what we might need to procure if we were trying to find something to be especially effective against it?
I mean, your flash bombs seem to do the trick.
Just more of that?
That's my best guess, at least.
All right. Can work with that.
Alright.
I'll go to the fishmonger.
Okay, cool. I was just thinking about the places that you could get magnesium down here. There are places you could do it.
I assume
Alright,
this
so you
guy.
guys- yeah, I was just gonna say, he's probably the guy you're gonna want to go to. So you go over to the fishmonger, and he's there. He's much quieter on your approach than the woman, and he just is breaking down a fish as you guys approach.
If it's possible to discern, can I, by reading his body language, pick up anything in his stance or his demeanor that would suggest ex-soldier? Or not? Do I get like an ex-marine vibe from him, or?
Let me see. I don't think you're gonna need to roll for this. You get less so organized military and more so mercenary militia adjacent. So definitely not somebody that is your kind of skilled, but looking at him, he might be able to give you a run for your money.
I will reveal whatever the Hallow Harbor equivalent, the Fairlands equivalent of like the United States Marines tattoo, like on the chest is.
Nice, yeah.
See if that
Hoorah.
gets his attention at all.
Yeah, it does, and he at least does you the he affords you the respect of putting his tools and job down when you flash him that tattoo, and he sort of like settles back to look at the two of you. And what can I do for you today?
Don't suppose you've got any, I don't know, dragonfire ammunition, do you? Out of character, dragonfire ammunition is a real thing. They are shotgun shells that have magnesium pellets instead of steel pellets. They are named so because they literally spray, like, melt your face off fire.
That's sick. Hold on.
You search dragonfire shells.
You also have a tendency to fuck up the weapon you fire with them.
I was just gonna say, aren't they gonna blow the shit off your stuff?
They sound like
Also,
something
I need to
Walter
borrow
would
your
totally-
Dockfoot pistol.
Shit, that's fun. You're essentially shooting a firework. He settles on his forearms. You're pretty brazen. All right.
I jokingly, like, I'm not trying to be honest. Like, as in, like, it's not even lying. I'm, like, just almost, like, I don't know what the word for it, sarcastically, but, like, tongue-in-cheek, saying,
Yeah.
her birthday's coming up. Wanna give her some, fireworks for the evening?
He laughs at that. And then says, no, but really, what can I get you?
No, but really, I was serious.
He kind of like, he looks at you. He looks around. Give me a sway.
Oh, no. 1 second.
Take an extra die. Take an extra die because of your, you did give the official.
Okay, so if I have 0 and I take an extra die, does that bring it to 1?
Yeah.
Okay, I will blow my last cunning.
Hey.
One of those was a 6.
Hey! Woo! Finally, well done.
All the 2s were for the Dragonfire ammunition. Can we say the Dragonfire ammunition does 1 point of damage for each 2 I've rolled tonight?
Yes, actually. Oh, fuck, that's
sorry,
so
let's continue.
funny. Oh my god. So he... I'm so glad. That's so funny. Alright, he looks between the 2 of you, does catch, and then, like, looks around, and nobody's really paying any more attention, and there aren't any, there's nobody around, and so he takes this fish, he starts cutting it up again, and then he goes, "How many did you want?"
How many you got?
Well, I mean, not that many, but at least 12. That would cost you a pretty penny, though.
Out of character, how much money do I have? I'm not an aristocrat, but I assume Brenton has some savings, and he doesn't really like spend them on much. But how much would he have on him realistically?
Realistically, I'd say for probably in a city, you and Bernadette probably have the equivalent of like 75 bucks, 75 gold pieces, whatever, on your person. You do have enough money that you don't have to, you get by, you don't have to worry about resources. This might be a splurge where you do have to worry about resources, but you're usually willing to spend your money on ammunition, so.
Okay. How many shots will 75 get me?
It'll get you the whole thing, and it'll be $35. It'll be 35 for the 12 dragon fire shots.
Baby girl, you need money for anything?
I mean, we'll have to eat at some point, but besides that...
We'll just have pistachios tonight.
Oh, my favorite.
So it's 35 for everything, which leaves us with another 35.
Correct.
Slam the notes down. We'll take them all.
Alright. And he finishes filleting that fish, he cuts it up into a thing and reaches down under and gets out an already wrapped package that's in butcher paper, and then takes his time and wraps up the fish, grabs your money and hands over both bundles to you, and kind of like pats the top of the pile. All right, be careful with these.
I give him a nod as just to like as a demonstration. I do like a quick twirl of my mechanical arm, except basically like each section like spins in an opposite direction. So like the palm rotates one way clockwise 180 degrees, whilst the forearm rotates counterclockwise 180 degrees, whilst the bicep like just like a sort of twirl, just like a always am.
Yes, so you've lost one of these already, so definitely be careful. All right, and he'll just
all right, walk right into that one.
Once you go about your business.
All right, I guess we'll meet them at the rendezvous spot at this point, and then we'll tell them about the docks.
Okay. Yeah. Anything else for y'all before I bounce to Walter and Felix?
That's it for me.
Wonderbot.
Yeah.
Okie doke. Alrighty, Walter, Felix, what are y'all up to, my friends?
So it comes to you just see it just cuts to like a mahogany table, like surface with a single pistachio nut on it, and then coming into shot, cracking it apart, you see a shot glass, and then Walter raises it and goes, "Cheers. We're drinking in a bar."
I love
the
y'all.
seediest bar we could find.
Yeah.
Hell yes. How many drinks have you guys had?
I would like to say that I've probably charmed a few of the locals to buy us drinks.
Absolutely, you can. My
I would
darling.
definitely if it's like a female bartender. Actually, if it's a male bartender, Felix doesn't give a fuck. Wherever the bartender is, whichever bartender has the prettiest eyes would get the thing of like leaning over the bar, eyes really fixated in and just staring into them, and something similar to I've traveled far and wide, and I think for the rest of my days, your eyes are going to be the ones that maintain in my memory for the longest time.
There's like a blush that you watch it creep up the neck of this very tall and beautiful woman, and she is like broad and has this like really lovely dark hair, and she just sort of like smiles and ducks, and she grabs a glass and pours a very healthy glass for you, and then she goes, "Well, thank you, sugar," and sends you along.
Much obliged, darling.
I'm kind of like just a bit down the bar, just watching the master at work, and giving a nod to himself for days very much gone by, but going, good on him.
I think Felix will then join you at the end of the bar, and would probably take off his top hat and like place it down, but he'll place it like rim side down, and kind of do the thing of like where his back is to the bar, looking out in the room, but he's still like he's not cutting you off. He's still open conversation to you.
Yeah,
but he's just perusing and looking around. He's just going, so a rather foul place we found ourselves wandering into.
Must say, you certainly know how to pick 'em, Felix.
What can I say? I've got an eye for beauty.
I could see.
Yeah. Wink to the bartender.
She has been paying you extra attention, so you do catch that she like catches and blushes and notices.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll kind of look back to Walter and just say, I mean, with the utmost respect, you seem to have been doing this for a while, whereas myself and the other professor are much more green to this kind of thing. When it comes to these kind of excavations, we have something of a lead. You've seen something of a hideous beast. I was going to say, I say we, but Felix was still very much catching up with the group and they were having their fight, so he kind of like arrived when the fight finished. And
like Troy from Community.
Literally, he's kind of coming in and he's got a bag of pistachios because he went to go get snacks before, and I was like, I'll find them around. So, but yeah, you guys didn't get your ass handed to you. Well, not completely. So you seem to be in a pretty good direction of where we're going. Now, my question is, where do we go next? And more importantly, how do we fight off something like that coming after us again? Because I believe what we're going for is ever so slightly bigger.
Well, we seem to have a way to at least ward off whatever that beast was. Again, might just simply have been just an aberrant thing that skulked around these parts, but certainly not what we're after today. That said, if it weren't for the good Monsieur Hargreaves and his spawn, we would have been in a bit of a worse pickle. So, I don't know if it's advice as such. I'm too old to give advice. You know, people make their own journeys and their own destinies, I guess they say, right? But I use the word friends fairly openly, but if you prefer acquaintances, but having good friends with useful skills that can aid you and you them does a lot to keep you going for a lot longer in these parts of Candela. That beast... I mean, I've mostly read texts, police reports, a few county court files on incidences that led me towards the two. The problem I have is that most of my expertise comes in the preparation, the information, the what's the phrase? The guy in the chair, if you will. So I was a little bit thrown for one when we were pretty much sent on our way with less to go on than might have been ideal. For me, the best thing for me to do would be if I could get back to the library, but that won't help you guys. So, failing that repository of knowledge, finding other sources. So, here for the links to Ambrosia, kind of what we were already doing, really. Splitting up, getting those that know more to fill out the pieces of the puzzle. And he pulls out his kind of like tiny book that he's kind of been filling a few bits in and goes, so because this is one thing we've still yet to put together as instances. We have event A and B and various things, but we don't have enough to kind of causally link them. We have Ambrosia, we have this incident in the manor, the whatever happened to her and the bleed, and we have this I don't know, it seems more like a Grimclaw to me than anything else so far, but that's, I've got so little to work on, that's come in and killed off the man and woman of the house. Are the two linked? I don't know if we know that yet. And if so, is this beast the thing that we are needing to take care of, or is that just another problem that might come up further in the future?
Yeah. From the evidence that we've seen in the house and the potential of these revenants being something that is moving around, it seems most likely that we're dealing with, I'm hoping, the lesser of two evils, which would be an inexperienced player, something like a medium, or someone who knows the darker side of stuff, but someone experienced enough to perform such unchristian tasks, but not experienced enough to know how to stop them from going shit side up.
Yes, it did.
And now we question, or now I question, is the person responsible for this trying to cover their tracks, or did they unlock something greater than they were intending, and now they are trying to think of the best way to capitalize on the crazy?
Those claw marks were leaving. I mean, I think I'll be fair. I'm not an expert tracker, and claws are what just marks. But it seemed to me like those marks were going down rather than up, meaning it went down that way, it didn't go up. So did that thing spawn from what happened in... I didn't see... I don't think I saw evidence of scratching, scrabbling, or anything in the from that route. I mean, it was pretty grisly, if I'm honest, even by my standards. Is that the thing that's been released? Again, I don't know. My hope is if we can find out more about who this Ambrosia was, and I say was because I don't think they're around anymore. If what went wrong, unless they became the thing. I mean, that's, there's tales as old as time as people wanting to harness powers, beings, abilities, and becoming monstrous in mind as well as body. Various tales.
Mm-hmm.
If my thought is the nub of the matter is Ambrosia. Everything else kind of unraveled from that point. If we can find out who and what she was, why she, what she was trying to do, if there was anything else in line there. I mean, knowing what happened to the other houses would be useful as well. So, no, I'm a fan of the old coppers per se, but bless the pencil pushers, they do like to write good reports. So you never know; they might have enough information that we could work on. So that's another route, but. Finding Ambrosia, or where she was, or who she is, seems to be, or would be where I would go. What would you do? Let's say, you were a lone wolf, as it were. Bad pun, given the context. But if you were on this task yourself, where would you angle first?
As you've been talking, you see that Felix has kind of taken out his traditional kind of deck of cards and has just been kind of playing around with them. It's kind of like his calculation process whilst you're talking, kind of getting information. And when you come to the question of like, what would you do and where would you go next? A part of him kind of like looks at the hand for a moment, and you can see that he's just like instinctively just been placing it in like a 2 rows of 3. And he just kind of goes, something about this, and I agree that Ambrosia seems to be the linchpin, the root of which this tree has so gloriously sprung. And I would like to hope that Daddy Dearest and his baby girl were able to find out what they needed to from their questioning. And when we all reconvene, we can find some kind of common denominator. In terms of where we are now, and he's kind of looking around a little bit too. What I would do next, sometimes in a case like this, I find an aid of sorts can be of use. And with that, like, he puts his hat, he like places the top hat, and he places them over the 6 cards, and he just starts like shaking it around. And kind of, when you see those guys with the dice, when they kind of like shake the tube and then the dice are all stacked and everything. He's kind of doing a similar kind of vibe like that. And then when he kind of like lifts it, 1 card will be on the top facing up, I just want to ask the GM, like, with that, I'm happy to describe whatever the card looks like, but in terms of like good practice of where to go next, maybe not necessarily in the sense of like, oh, we should interview this person, we should interview this person. I'm talking like a deeper, darker thing of like a spiritual guidance kind of thing. Is there anything that he's kind of getting in the sense of like Mother Willow and Pocahontas, like listen to the wind kind of vibe?
All right. So, as you are doing that, and Walter says the thing about Daddy and Daughter Dearest, and you pull the hat over and go to shuffle the cards. You kind of watch this younger woman that had been at the bar when you guys had arrived. She sort of like, you watch her just hurriedly leave, and you are observant enough to know that she heard Walter, and she kind of left in a hurry afterwards. But the card that you end up pulling, you kind of you watch her back as she leaves out the door and pick up the hat and look down at the card. And the card, whatever image that you have on the card is the image that you have on the card. But what you see when you look down at the card is you get a flash of these feminine hands covered in blood and that dark ichor that you know is physical representation of bleed, and you watch it like dig in and squeeze and pull out like this bloody mass, and you look up and the door is shut behind the woman. You've got the card that you were expecting is face up with whatever image it has, but that is what you've got in your head.
Sweet. With that, kind of, he'll look towards the door, and kind of like look towards her and just go, "How are you with following hunches?"
Most of my hunches come from tales I've read before, and the reason tales are so popular is they tend to repeat themselves. If you got a hunch, go with it.
He just kind of gets up, puts his hat on, and does the kind of like puts it on and does that like very unnecessary skimming of the rim, and starts walking towards the door in which the woman kind of went behind. Kind of just stands, not even like in front of it, but kind of like leans against the door. And you said the door was shut, right?
Yes, it's the door back outside, and it closed behind her. Yes.
Yeah. So it is back outside. He kind of like leans against it, and looks towards her and just goes, "Now, anything could be behind door number 1. Do you want to do the honors, or should I?"
It'll take me 5 minutes to get to you, given my legs. You go.
I was gonna say, like Walter's like still getting his stuff together.
I've just about got the okay. Yeah, probably yeah. And so sorted all that out. But yes, I kind of give them you go, and I will slowly
catch up. Yeah. I'll open the door and look out and see if she's gotten significantly far, and if not, can I kind of get a sense of which way she would have gone?
Okay, I would love for you to give me 1 moment. Either a survey or a read.
Okay. I'm gonna do a survey.
Okay.
I'm also going to burn an intuition on this one.
Go for it.
Just so I have a higher chance.
All right, hell yeah.
Sweet.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, so you got enough of a look at her to notice that she had red hair, and that is the thing that you can more easily see over the top of everybody. You have you're at least a good head taller than everybody that's walking around, and so you can definitely follow her.
I definitely would like to kind of follow. And if does it look like she's like actively? So the kind of best way to describe this is if I pursue with some level of pace. Can I do so in enough of a way to catch up, but not startle for her to maybe then run off further and like make it a whole dash sprint thing? Effectively, I kind of want to just catch her similar to like if someone's like dropped their keys and you kind of want to catch up with them to hand it back. It's that level, even though obviously my intent is different.
Okay, hold on. Alrighty, so I will take. I'll take from you. I'll take a sense, or a sway. I'll take sense or sway from you to catch up to her and to like come off as genuine. And
a part of me does want to do it a sense because I've got a better chance of that, but sway is way more like thematically right. So I'm gonna keep it real and do a sway.
Okay.
And that is a gilded dice, though.
Hell yeah.
Let's see what that was.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
So, definitely, that definitely works. She does not pick up the pace, hearing you behind her, and you can walk up next to her with little to no issue. What would you like to do from here?
Beautiful. When I kind of catch up with her, I say, it's incredibly rude to leave a bar before the gentleman has had an opportunity to offer you a drink.
She sort of like jumps and spins. I didn't think that would have been anything about that for me. You seemed like you were quite taken with the bartender yourself.
My apologies, I did not mean to startle you. The bartender was merely a means in order to get the goods in which I needed, that being a drink. However, when you visit establishments like this, someone such as myself will always do their best to find the most appealing, beautiful, and downright exquisite specimen and make a note of them. As I turn my head after speaking with my good friend, and I kind of like will gesture to where I hope Walter is now coming out of the bar and catching up.
Speed walking.
Well, no, I don't. He won't. He will have got up. He would have caught where is there as well, and he's just gonna take his time.
Yeah, I'm just you're gonna like, and my acquaintance here, as I got lost in conversation with him, I took a look around and saw that you were left, and I thought I would be remiss if I did not. I knew that I would regret my future days if I did not have the opportunity to at least ask you of your name.
Bridget. Sorry, just not normally how my day goes. And the both of you kind of like take each other in and Felix, when was the last time that you were at any of the classes at the school or anything like that?
guess maybe up to a year, and then everything else has kind of just been like almost like he's been on a gap year.
Yeah. Okay, so this girl, this woman, her face all of a sudden kind of strikes a memory, and you think you remember seeing her in a class. You don't remember what it was for, but you think you remember seeing her there. And she does seem to be the right age. You also notice that she has like she's got the underparts of like a house uniform on. So like she doesn't have the black made over thing, but still is in better. She's got some nicer clothes than most of the people around here for the moment, and she kind of like looks at you like she's trying to place you. Are you from around here?
I mean, I've had my fair share of travels. I'm not a complete stranger to this level of the world. But no, I am not a local, so to speak.
Huh. You remind me of someone, I think. Maybe that's just my mind playing tricks on me.
The mind has a way of doing that, if you allow it to.
Doesn't it just? Did you really come all this way just for my name? I don't think that's especially the two of you.
Well, you have caught me. I did come for your name. It is always impolite just to approach a woman and not ask her name. But you left so soon that approach was the only way that I could move forward with this. But secondly, and kind of, I'm assuming Water would kind of catch up to.
Yeah, I've arrived at this.
Yeah,
point.
you would have. No worries.
I've arrived at, but I'm like, I'm present. Like, maybe like a few paces away, but I'm not intruding in the space. So I'm present physically there, but I'm not like injecting myself into the conversation. I'm letting it pass.
But yeah, I'm like, so Felix goes, yeah, I did want to get your name, but also, are you a believer in the life beyond and what we can't see? And as I'm saying that, I'm taking out my cards again.
Yeah. And she kind of like watches you, like her interest is she's definitely interested, but she's also wary.
Yeah. And basically, like, he's just got like a single card, and then he's like flicking it around, and you can see the card is completely blank. And then as he's talking to her and kind of like looking at her, he kind of starts walking around and just kind of like looks around at her figure, her body, and kind of what she's wearing, if she's got any like trinkets or anything like that might particularly stand out. But as he's kind of doing that, he's saying, like I said, I'm not necessarily from around here, but where I do hail or live currently, I'm something of a specialist in my practice field. Although it is not always accurate, sometimes I have a flair for the divine intervention of knowing someone's past, present, and future. There are some who I know follow these same traits. And some of them are charlatans that you cannot trust. As he's saying that, I would say that Walter, you can pick up that he is saying it in a way that is like, he could also completely be one of these charlatans. And in this particular case, he is hyping his story up way too much to try and like seem bigger to this woman. But then as he kind of like circles around and comes back to the front, he does the thing where he kind of like he gets the card and he kind of like puts it in front of her eyes, slightly, like not to cover it but slightly, and then he kind of flicks it round, and on the front of it you see a kind of a female form with very obviously red hair, and it's like gold inlay and everything, and her head is like slightly sunken, and it just says like in typography, it just says like the maiden, and he kind of hands it to her and says, your hand please.
And she, with kind of astonished eyes, extends her hand out.
And he kind of puts it in her hand face up so she can see it, and then kind of draws away, but keeping his other hand on the back of her, so kind of like resting it. And he just goes, now tell me, when you look at this card, what is it that you see? Do you see something within yourself that's reflected? Or do you see something of who you wish to be? Or maybe someone you were in the past? A haunted past self come back to remind you who it is you should become?
And she's just sort of like, she was mesmerized by you, but now she's looking down at the card, and I think the only thing she sees is that, like, her face looks sunken, and I think you see all of the color drain from her face. And she, like, looks at it, and breathlessly she's like, death. It looks like death. And she goes to, like, pull her hand out from underneath the card. If you aren't holding her hand too tightly, she will absolutely try and leave that in your hand.
No, that's absolutely fine. And when she does that, it kind of like it's like tablecloth pulling, where she does it quick enough, and the card kind of stays where it is for a moment, and then drops into his.
Yes.
And then he grabs it and kind of sees like the distress and everything, and he just goes. You can kind of see him in his face, completely feigned like intrigue of just being like, now that's rather interesting. Usually,
It's crazy.
that's
Wild story, bro.
That's wild. Please tell me more. But he's just basically like those who see death in any of the cards that are not innately death themselves, and I pick out another card, and on that you just see a very typical like skull, scythe, death kind of like terminology. And I kind of go, those who see death in the cards that don't innately say it clearly have it on their mind or in their subconscious. Are you running from something, my dear? Are you frightened? Are you scared? Is something bothering or hounding you?
And she's like just trying to back up. She's like, I have to get to work. I've already
As she's kind of backing up, she probably kind of like in the process kind of backs up towards where Walter is, and she kind of backs up to gently placing a hand on her shoulder, not like grabbing, just gently has a hand, and he will say, "We aren't here for you, but we are here for information. Please speak to the gentleman, and then we'll leave you be."
Walter, you can feel this young woman's whole body stiffen. She's like, this is terrible. And I have put myself in a bad position. Mama always said I shouldn't go to bars in the daylight, and I am just fucking up my life left and right out here. Okay, so she is stood there right in front of Walter, and she just realizes where she is and sort of sighs, and there have been rumors about this shack that's down by the dock, and it's a bit of a ways from here. But and I enjoy my job, and I have worked really hard to get the job that I have, and I really don't need to be saying things that could make me then lose my job and all of the nice things that come with it. So, I would like to point you in the direction of that shed and go about my day.
In front of her vision, like kind of from where I'm stood, like the A to Z map kind of just materializes around her other shoulder.
She like pushes it away from her face so she can see it, and squints. Is that Prussia? And then flips a couple pages. And flips a couple pages, and it's the right map. And she circles the spot. She circles the spot that you guys would need to get to, and it is out by the industrial district, and over towards the above table. It is out by where we're going to be sending the Bernadette and Brenton. So she marks that down for you, and she. So she then she actually like gives you a couple different routes, and then she just makes sure that you guys can get there, and then she like looks at the both of you, makes eye contact, is like, "Am I free to go?"
I will kind of flip over the map again, and I'll bring over a page that's more well-worn. It's the page that shows sort of the immediate vicinity of the library, and it's already got a pre-marked kind of circle on it for where it is. And he runs it over and he just taps on it and goes, "If you ever need help, no judgment and no preamble needed. Green facade, doesn't look like a store. Look for the brass knocker."
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Well, Felix, what a lovely day to go for a walk, just the two of us. Am I right?
He kind of does a nod, takes his top hat off, and like does a bow to Bridget, and kind of like takes a hand to give a kiss on the hand if she will allow.
Yes.
So he does so, and then he kind of looks up, and as he looks up, he kind of puts his other hand onto it, and he just says to her, "I wasn't lying before. A beauty such as yourself, someone as exquisite as you are, it has been a pleasure to make your acquaintance. And my friend is right. If you ever need us, or if you should ever need a sanctuary, do come and find us. I look forward to hopefully seeing you."
She is absolutely red like the bartender, and nods to both of you and scurries away.
Do have to ask, Monsieur Felix. I was never particularly skilled at the game, as it were. Perhaps if I had pointers from you in a previous life, things might have turned out differently. Eh?
He looks to you and he says, "My dear friend, the game is only for players. I simply make the rules." And he puts his hat on, does the swipe circle for Walter, and then I'm gonna if I could use a read to see if Walter maybe has some like latent bisexual fantasies that are like being
You absolutely need to roll. You absolutely need to roll for it.
Roll.
And I'll let you on a 4 and up. You absolutely are correct.
I'm just going to burn all of my cunning into this one roll.
Go for it.
Not the ship I was anticipating, but I'm here for it.
It's the one I want. That's for Dave.
It's the one I need. Okay. I've got a 2 and a 5. That's a mixed success. I'm taking it as a win.
Yeah. So you like there is definitely a look that you get from Walter, and
It's better not awaken anything in me.
It's you get that there's something about maybe your physicality or change has reminded him of something which brings what initially looks to be a smile, and then you see it kind of turn into a quiet sadness. But he kind of like masks it with a bit of a smile, and he goes, "Well, if I ever need the rules explained, I know where to go."
Felix will kind of like gesture to the local pathway, and just simply say, "By your lead."
And we will make our way back to the meet point.
Yeah. If we happen to get lost on the way, though.
Roll for getting lost on purpose.
Fuck me, they've been gone for like 2 hours.
Why is Walter using 2 walking sticks suddenly? Sorry. Anyway, moving on.
Oh, Jesus.
Leave that frail old man alone.
All of this has happened, and then just our other professor is just sitting there like, where is it?
I should be at work. I have a job. Okay, so for everybody else, we are all going to be heading back to the rendezvous point. Yes.
Okay, yeah. Unless tomorrow you had something, Brenton would have headed back to the rendezvous point.
Alrighty. Okay, great. So you guys all head to the rendezvous point. Felix and Walter take a couple extra minutes. Nobody needs to read into it.
Do we have like a moment before Felix and Walter get back?
Yeah.
Has the doctor? Did I miss? Has the doctor managed to make his contact?
He did manage to make his contact. You guys have not heard anything from him as of yet.
You know, because I imagine thematically we were probably drinking for a while, not a silly while, but we were drinking for a while before everything kind of started off anyway. So it makes sense that we might be a bit late to right on the tail end of the 2-hour mark.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
We're joking about a secret rendezvous with Felix and Walter, but a secret rendezvous actually did happen with his contact, and now we're actually all good.
Yes, the funny secret rendezvous covered the actual secret rendezvous, so it's totally fine. It was all planned out here. But Brenton and Bernadette, what do you guys got going on at the rendezvous?
If we had a minute before, while we were back, imagine just waiting at the square or whatever on a bench whilst they come back. I imagine there'd be a degree of satin silence. Perhaps a little bit awkward. Brenton would be thumbing that same locket around his neck again, flicks it open, stares at the picture inside. Snaps it shut, tucks it away. Glances over at Bernadette and says, "You know, I got your back, and I know you got mine. You are an equal in my eyes, but you're always going to be my daughter. Don't take that away from me." Not completely. Please.
There's new people around. Just keep it to a minimum right now.
Fair. Give her a wry smile, hoping she'll meet it.
Anyway.
And all there is the sting of the salt air and the silence and the flipping of her book. And you sit and listen to the air whistle through this and wish it was her answer or anything. And after a while of just staring in the middle distance, you notice the familiar shape of Felix and the familiar walk of Walter behind him. And they finally, because it feels like that one moment felt like 7 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they mercifully come through the crowd and end up standing in front of you. Anything that you guys want to do while you're waiting for Dr. Koenig?
I
You
take
first?
out a pocket watch and I just look at the time just to get an idea and go, it's running a bit late, I hope he's okay.
And with that, we watch the minute hand on the pocket watch goes from 1 minute to 5 minutes to 25 to 45. And he never shows up.
How long is this going to take?
And he never shows up. And that's where we're going to leave you guys today.
Oh, nice.
boy.
Come on!
Yeah,
Very nice.
sorry, gonna wrap it up early today.
I can't read
but-
anything through those sunglasses. What did you do? What's happened? He's got his poker face on and everything.
Jordan, if you turn out to be a villain NPC plant this whole time, I'm gonna be pissed.
No promises, no promises.
I will say nothing about why he's here.
I'll use all 12
That
of
was great.
those Dragonfire rounds on you.
You kill your one doctor. That's gonna be such a funny.
If he's the bad guy, not if he's just
Was
like,
he?
I don't know, got stuck in the jaw
don't
or
know.
got taken.
You don't know. He went to go meet a black market contact after
Yeah,
being a
I'm
doctor
saying
guy.
As one does, on his own, no backup.
I'm saying I'm
possible.
speculating. I'm speculating if he turns out to be the BBEG, I'm gonna use all 12 of those shots on him.
Yeah, you're at least prepared. You do have 12 Dragonfire rounds
Oh yeah, well,
I do
that
while
you
they were
got from a fishmonger.
while they were raiding, Breton would have absolutely just recapped them, like with Felix and Walter saying, "Quick recap: we got a lead down by the docks, and we've got Dragonfire bullets now."
Seem to have the same kind of lane. Yeah, we kind of pass
Yeah,
on.
good
Like,
officers, yeah.
like
I
I imagine
would
we kind of
say-
keep it. Oh, yeah, go on.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. 'Cause
I was
mine's
going to say
be something
that Walter would just keep it kind of like just the functional notes of where we're going. We've got a contact that kind of led us as a spot to go, but not any of the seedy details.
different. Yeah. Once we were waiting, if it was going to be like 45 minutes or something, like Felix would very much be not necessarily like the bored child at like the airport, but would probably just like the decorum would probably drop slightly, and he'll probably just would sit and just like wait like against the wall or something. However, if Walter would allow, especially if it gets slightly dark, he'd ask if he could use his lantern as like a back brace slightly.
Yeah, bring
So
hands it over. Yeah, no problem. Hands it over.
So during that 45 minutes, Walter is going to pocket some of the ash and like debris and dirt that comes within Walter's lantern, ideally without him seeing. But if he sees it, he would just like make it look like he's playing with it, like boredom, like like pick grass in the fields when you're bored. He'll make it appear like that.
I don't think he's going to be paying much attention really, because
fantastic.
He tends to be more like once you get the vibe of doesn't like being late to things, and so once we were at the 1 minute past, there was the concerned thing, and then it's just more of a silent vigil with his concern mounting. So no, easily he wouldn't be paying attention.
Fab.
Walter's just in his own private hell while one of his circle members is missing. This is the worst, most inconvenient.
Jump cut to like Norman just like next round of Russian roulette.
Sometimes getting information is lengthy.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Hannah, as always, for running the game.
Thank you guys so
fantastic
much.
session.
You're so welcome.
I fell on my ass and I loved it. In more ways than one. Thank you as well, Tamara. I'm loving every second of this. I'm gonna...
So glad.
Oh, that was so... Oof.
I love me some drama. Hannah, would you like to kick us off?
Yes. Alrighty. Kicking off the outro. I'm Hannah of Raging Babe Writes. You can find me TikTok, Instagram, all of that stuff underneath Raging Babe or Tardy Writer as my professional account.
Fantastic. Baby girl.
You can find me most places on the internet at mar_inated, except for Instagram and Threads, where it's mar_inated.
Morris, I will give you the floor to talk about what you'd like to talk about.
Yeah. Usual stuff. I don't understand. I'm an old man. I don't understand how social media works and all that. So I always say for my bit, just a big thanks to everyone that takes part and listens in, and thanks to all those amazing third-party content creators that give us all the awesome stuff, including anyone that makes any music, artwork, additional rule sets that we use as well. Anyone that just is creative, just keep being creative because the world is dull otherwise. So just keep doing it. And for those that are, in this day and age that have more disposable that they know what to do with it, throw it to some of those creators so they can keep doing what they do because it's what makes the world a better place.
Hell yeah!
Amazing. Jordan, talk to these folks about your fine self.
I exist, and that's about all I do right now. So, yeah.
Fair enough. Any
inside check?
Is
it there? I don't know.
We found out Jordan's actually an AI.
I programmed the whole thing just for this game. Became a tech wizard.
And last but certainly not least, Alex. Take it away.
You can find me on the Clock app at Zanderlee VA. If something was awoken within you with Felix's voice tonight, I probably am now going to start do more. I'm probably going to do more of that on the Clock app because it's monetizable, and so might as well do it.
Smart man.
Fair.
Smart man.
And as for me, you can find all my cosplay content on my personal Instagram at electrum_cosplay. And you can find all the show's socials at DC30official on all platforms. I'll certainly have a couple clips from this to post there. So when I get to that, I'll edit those, do something of the sort. And as always, if you like this content and you want to see more of this content, feel free to join the Discord where we've got a myriad of extra features. Talk to the cast. I post all the resources I create or bash together there. And it should actually be functional now because... Is that... I know, so that's not going to work at the moment because I realized that the link I was using for the
expired probably
ages ago. So for months and months we've been posting that link and it's gone nowhere. But yes, join the Discord. for these kinds of shenanigans and more. That's everything from me. Thank you for joining us for this spooky tale. We'll do a raid in a second, but we will sign off formally here. And join us next week for the next session of Arcana Antiqua, Candela Obscura story.
Bye.